Come on. Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our Indy. This is Captain April, and these are the days of our Indy. Yeah, we're doing a live one here. And also, first, we're starting off with all the bells and whistles here. So, uh, kind of it's like, started off the day really. There's this one detransitioner I'm following. Now she's following me because I helped out in a bit here. Sinead Watson, her handle is I'm Watson. But she put in an open letter that she, I think, she had prison before, but to this one big trans doctor, that fellow at Stanford, who was just poo pooing the whole thing, just dismissing anything that people this might be a wrong thing, and you instead of surgery and hormones, you need to just have talk them through this and find out what the hell's going on, and not just start cutting people. So I posted that, and the thing, and I because I've certified she's not, so it's like 40 some posts to get this all in there. I kept it all into one big post. She loved it. She's now following me. We've been interacting for a while, but she hadn't been following me to this point. But now she's following me. And got a little hug emoji out, and I hugged her back. But this one, amongst the various, like, it's got over 8,000 impressions now, maybe 10,000 by now, but it's growing wild. But one gal, Stephanie Wynn, she's a therapist up in the Pacific Northwest, no way know. And I tweeted, please tell me you're within striking distance of Seattle. But she did, but she added in her a little thing for context here. It's a conversation she was having with a D-trans guy who wants to be with the thing. But you kind of diagram this out here, and we're going to take a look at this and share with the class. And let's go through it here.
So I've talked about the concepts of ego dystonic and ego syntonic. So for those who are just hearing this for the first time, this is a way of conceptualizing a person's relationship with their mental distress. Ego dystonic means that you experience the distress as foreign to your sense of self. So let's say, for example, a person with OCD who has intrusive thoughts. Let's say this is a very conscientious, caring person. They have intrusive thoughts about harming someone. That's really distressing. They don't want to be thinking and feeling that way. And maybe they have insight about this. And so they seek help for it. Egosyntonic, on the other hand, is when a person's sense of self is fused with the thing that is the mental condition. So, for example, with grandiose narcissism, where a person truly believes that they are the greatest and that they deserve special treatment. And I think that this is a missing piece of the conversation around gender dysphoria and how we treat it in our society. And I made this map as one hypothetical example of how where a person falls on the ego dystonic, ego syntonic axis with regard to gender dysphoria can actually change over time, which is something that gets overlooked in conversations, where the people who are pro gender affirming care really have this very ego syntonic view where they think that a person's gender dysphoria is an indicator of who they are as a person, and therefore we need to make that permanent. And that's where the divide is in our society, is whether we're thinking about this condition in an ego syntonic or an ego dystonic way. And so what was really interesting is that when I showed this to you last time we spoke and I
Yeah, she's talking
explained
to the
it,
guy.
you said that it really matched up with your experience. And what I was doing here is I was actually just making up a hypothetical detransitioner and speculating as to what the journey could be like for them. So to sort of walk people through it, what we see here on the screen, we have ego dystonic to ego syntonic on the y-axis. And on the x-axis, we have a person's age over time. So this hypothetical person, it goes from 15 to 26. And so early on, they're introduced to this idea, am I trans? And there's this rapid skyrocketing of the gender dysphoria becoming ego syntonic, becoming fused with their sense of self.
Now, I put this in there. The regard to Indy, yeah, she's 28. But we are talking a big case of really arrested development to a case here, okay? Because not just because of what she's gone through, the various traumas, but also, again, the drug, the I think it's pretty well established, been for decades now. Chronic marijuana use inhibits brain development. So yeah, you're 28 physically. Brain wise, you're probably still at 18 and 19, Indy. And your lifestyle is not that much different than when you're 18 and 19. Okay, you're still playing dress up. You're doing videos on TikTok and porn in the bedroom. Okay, so there's really has been no stuff. Aside from handling your own taxes, which are considerable, at least have been. I don't know what's going on now, but but you're you're still pretty much living the life of a teenager and not given a whole lot of reason to get going. I think that's part of what these guys who latched onto are banking on. So let's get back to this.
And what's fueling this is this rapid immersion in like online trans propaganda, love bombing from the trans community, so called gender euphoria, and the almost obsessive pursuit of trans related goals, like with regard to social and medical transition. So then we have it sort of start to peak and taper off at a high level of ego syntonic nature, where there's the cementing of the identity and maybe the beginning of the medicalization. But during this time, while there's the initial euphoria, there's also sort of the worsening of a person's mental health, which in your journey, Nicholas, you talked about like how on the one hand you had that euphoria when you first started taking the hormones, and at the same time you also got emotionally destabilized by it and you became more obsessive and more sort of agoraphobic and socially anxious because you were pursuing an impossible goal. And so at some point this reaches the peak. So in this chart for people who are looking at it, the peak is, around 20 or 21, and then it starts to decline, and there's sort of a rocky process of declining. So what we're looking at is the gender dysphoria declining from being an ego syntonic condition to an ego dystonic condition. And for some people, like for those who have medicalized in a way that's irreversible, let's say females who have experienced a receding hairline, body hair growth, fat distribution, and a vocal lowering, there are some females who after detransitioning can no longer pass as female. So they have almost the opposite, at that point where they have a new type of sort of dysphoria over the experience of feeling like they can't be seen as female.
In other words, you started off with body dysmorphia, but when you go thing, you have now genuine gender dysphoria. That's what this brings on. I've seen this case before. Ryan Barnes, same thing. She thought she was gender dysphoric before. After a few years on hormones, and Patson is a guy successfully. She induced her own case of genuine gender dysphoria, or gender dysphoria. And then it's like, no, I made a very horrible mistake. And by this point, she was already signed up for top surgery. She hasn't had it. The only she's got right now is the vocal thing. Her voice is lower than mine if she's not watching. And she's currently doing a fundraiser to try and get the surgery to correct some of that. It won't get her back to where she was, but it'll be more of a feminine voice than what she's got now. Right now, she can see bass. But I'm hoping to head off this thing, get you to realize that before we start destroying that perfect body of yours. And yes, there is nothing wrong with the body you got, Indy. Women all over the world, hell, one of my subscribers on YouTube is a pro-trans channel. And she says, no, you should not have you should not try transitioning. She would kill to have your body. You don't know what you've got, okay? But back to this.
So along the way, as this person's condition is going from more ego syntonic to ego dystonic, their belief system is falling apart. Maybe they're experiencing some of the downsides, like the onset of medical issues or how impossible these things are. And then there's the thought enters like, do I need to detransition, or am I detrans, or am I not really trans? Or for some people, it's like, am I non-binary is sort of the stepstone out of it. And meanwhile, their brain is maturing the whole time. And so in this person's chart, I have the brain's reaching maturity around age 25 or so. So I think this is something we need to talk about more in society. And I just wanted to present it because of how it lines up with your story, Nicholas. Any thoughts on that?
No, last time I almost cried because I was like, it felt like you were witnessing my journey and put it into a visual representation on a, bigger picture. Because it's hard to talk about it in a sense to have someone else understand it. Like people can be like, okay, that's an interesting experience, that's intense, and maybe that's the end of the discussion if I have a conversation with someone. But like you went above and beyond. You were able to really articulate and formulate how someone could be experiencing from transition and detransition. Because I think I started my pursuit to gendered identity at 15, and it started to take hormones at 18. And then the peak of my trans ideation was 2020. So, like, when I was 20 years old. And then I started to detransition 2022. So, we're in the belief system falling apart. Yeah, somewhere around there. So, I was just like, this is so oddly close. And I love that you're so smart and intelligent to the point where you can actually feel like put yourself into my shoes and then really analyze objectively what was going on.
Thank you. I feel like this needs to be studied more. And I feel like it's an important part of introducing the framework of a book like yours, because your book is written from the perspective of someone who had, let's say, egosyntonic gender dysphoria. You believed that you were trans for a time, but that's not your perspective anymore, because these things change over time. And you're at a point now where, when I've asked you in the past, like, what is your sort of
Some of this
mission
rough for
with this
context.
book, or, where are you coming from? It's, you want to instill hope that people can overcome gender dysphoria. That is not something, a condition that people have to suffer from forever. Certainly not something people need to make physically permanent. And that's coming from an ego dystonic worldview. That's where I and all the gender critical people are coming from. That's where the parents that I talk to are coming from. It's all this idea that just because you have gender dysphoria, whatever that even means, because that can mean a lot of different things. It could be body dysmorphia, it could be internalized homophobia, it could be sexual trauma, whatever. Like, just because you declared this identity or come to this belief about yourself or are grappling with self-hatred around a certain body part, whatever it might be,
Your tits.
just because you're experiencing that at a certain time in your life does not actually say anything about your identity as a person. And we're on the side of, that's a good thing, because the alternative is this medical pathway that turns someone into a lifelong medical patient. But I think those who are thinking of this issue in an egosyntonic way are very threatened by this, because the idea that we're promoting, this idea that you can get help, you can get psychological help, you can treat your body in a way that's natural, that preserves your long-term health, well-being, and fertility. Who you are as a person does not have to mean body alterations. These ideas, as much as they sound hopeful to us, are actually very threatening to people who are looking at it in an egosyntonic way. And that's why I think that we need to bring this issue front and center in the debate over this issue.
Well said. Well said.
Okay. So hopefully that has provided some, where are we? A little more grist for the, yeah. Well, a bit, yes, I appreciate them, but I also, I also appreciate the fact that yes, the having them is not as good as looking at them. Okay, so you got to deal with this thing day to day, hour to hour. But there are medical issues in hand here. So yeah, I think and Andy, yeah, we're back to the old thing. A lot of this is trauma that has not been properly dealt with for whatever reason. Either you're blocking, you won't let anybody near with that initial thing that started this ball rolling back when you were like maybe 3, and just compounded with every stupid shitty thing that's happened to you since then. And you're taking the one thing that is true. You don't like your tits. They are big. They're a pain in the butt. They hurt your back and everything. And then expanded that into a whole mindset of, I must be a boy. It's like the two do not connect. I don't how big a convoluted thing some Rube Goldberg operation to connect up the two. No. And you fucking know this. That's why you got to do the convoluted crap to try and make sense of it. Because it's inherently nonsensical. Now, again, that little ad I put up, yeah, it's a little snarky there, but it's also sincere. I'm trying to drive business to your thing to try. Hey, She's open up here. And the $5,000 cost, that is how much it costs to run that fucking site for a month. So you know, get on that link and throw it. And Indy, you might want to check that counter. I know there's money in there. I put $5 in there myself. I also sponsored a couple of videos I'm not getting credit for too. So this is not helping your credibility when these things happen. It's like, then I paid money and I'm not getting, the credit I was promised. I put in there. Yeah. Like I said, and I applaud the idea. Put a fundraiser and thing. You want to see a girl video? Demand date it. Yeah, throw some money in. Pay up or shut up. And that's what I think. There's your chance, guys. Let's show her what we want. Okay, show her some some stuff here. But just wanted to get that out there real quick. That thing where I do recommend that one post of mine that's going completely nuts, where I repackaged Sinead's big long. It's a long one because it was 47 separate posts from her, or 40 something, over 40. There's repackaged in one big thing, and it is damning to the transition medical thing in general, and this Dr. Turban in specific. He's a fellow at Stanford University. He's pushing this crap. And it's part of the problem. They get these titles on there. They think they're God, and they go, "Oh, the pretty little thing. Oh, it's a sugar." Yeah, because you're not really surveying. Most people who detransition don't go back to talk about it because of the flack they get from this crap. I think but still the numbers are growing rather nuts. I am well over 24 detransitioners in my feed right now. People are getting tired and they're getting the guts up to speak up. And that's one of the reasons why when I repost that, it's gone freaking nuts. I mean, let me take a look here at what it's up to now. Yeah. Yeah, it's a long way. It's already been, let's see. I'm showing 25 reposts, but let's see. Let me go back to my page. I'm not going to. There we go. Check the analytics here. It's already well over 11,000 impressions, 509 engagements, 332 detail expands. I took 3 new followers in the process, and 60 visits to my profile. So it's going nuts. Okay, just got another like just now on it. So, Indy, I'm trying to get you to kind of let's skip the medical crap. You're again, one of the things I haven't mentioned enough, but male pattern baldness. Your hair is kind of thin to begin with. You said to yourself, it's kind of fine. You'll be bald by Christmas. You start going to this crap. That's one of the nasty things about testosterone. Yeah, you get big and beefy, but it also makes you bald. Okay, this thing right here. See this? You want this action here? You want this kind of manly man stuff? And I've got more hair than my dad did at his age. Okay, at this age. So yeah, it's like you're worried about getting your abs, sit-ups, crunches, and eat more meat. Try completely rewriting your entire physiology with with wrong sex hormones just to get firmer abs. It's like trying to swat a fly with a snow shovel. You're not going to get the fly, and you're going to break a lot of shit that had nothing to do with it. There are go to like GNC or something, talk to them about building more muscle up. There are various supplements and everything to build muscle up without having to go on testosterone. which again is not going to do much for you. Your build, you're not going to get much out of it. But in the meantime, you're going to get loads of body hair you don't want. You're going to start growing a beard. You start losing your hair in your top. It's going to start rewriting your entire skeletal structure to the point where you're in constant pain. And again, considering your chosen line of work, genital atrophy, vaginal atrophy, you will not be able to take a fucking tampon. Never mind the big monster dildos you like to play with. It's like, no, it doesn't turn your clitoris into a penis, but it's going to try to. There's a grain of truth in that. It'll try to turn into a penis, and that's not the thing you want to turn, Like, no one will have to go hunting for it. It'll be sticking out for about the size of your thumb. But still, just as sensitive. So imagine rubbing that against your pants all damn day. Again, you start this shot, and you will be a permanent medical experiment for life at that point when this stuff starts kicking in. So, like I said, your anxieties are saving your ass right now. It's beyond just some kind of social anxiety. No, it's self-preservation. You know it's shit. You've said you swore up and down you would never do this. You didn't want this. You don't want those effects. Now you're actually showing up in the fucking clinic and having a freak out? What the hell happened here, Indy? Who is pushing you to do this shit? Like I said again, they do not care about you. If they're pushing you to do crap you know you don't want to do. Is friendship with these creeps really that fucking important? For God's sake, pull your head out of your ass. You got a lot of people that are scared shitless about what's about to happen to you, and we got a ringside seat, and you won't fucking listen. You're charging right through the warning signs and just, okay, because so-and-so wants me to do it, I'll do it. Think about that for a second. We're back to the old cliche. If so-and-so told you to jump off a cliff, would you do it? You're to say yes. And never stop to think, why are they wanting me to fucking jump off a cliff? Why are these people trying to completely rewrite my biology and mangle myself? Irreparably. Once you put so many conditions on the breast surgery, no surgeon in the world is going to be able to match those. There will be scars and there will be risks and complications. You'll be out for months recovering for it. And future content will be, forget it. No one's going to want to buy that shit. Yeah, the graft, the nipple summary. Yeah, the grafts don't always take because now there's no underlying structure. It's just stuck on there. Maybe it'll take. Maybe you'll wake up and find the cat chewing on it in the corner. There is no good outcome here. The proper thing is not to say, well, you think you're a boy, then we'll turn you into a boy. Let's just slap a sausage on your dick and on your crotch and call it a day. No, it doesn't work that way. It never had, never will. It's a fucking Nazi experiment. It's where it started. Where this whole thing started. It started with literal Nazi scientists. I can pull up the video where you talk about them. A couple of them worked with Mengele in the camps. That's where the first surgery started. It is a bankrupt philosophy in the first place, and it's one thing. Who the hell knows what? But the result is basically you're destroying society as a result of it all. Because now suddenly, basic things like sex and gender mean nothing. You can call yourself a rubber plant for all the difference it makes. But again, part of it is we going to just go jack up somebody else. I do actually. I have a problem watching your material now for the proper effect because of this. Okay, but you're not the only one. You weren't the only one before. You're not the one now, so don't feel special. Okay, but again, I don't. I told this to Azel, Robot. I don't care about the content. I care about you. I don't give a rat's ass about Indigo White internationally acclaimed portion. I care about Indy, the kid from a small town in Washington who's been taken on some very wrong paths and is about to walk off a fucking cliff because somebody said so. Been surrounded by a bunch of idiots. It's like, no, we can't. We got one. You can't have her back. No. No, she's so precious. Too many people have decided, no, fuck it, ain't worth it. I'm welcoming. I can't do that, okay? Not just because of all the issues before, but, Brinstar killed himself over this shit. So I feel a little more, but I think that, no, someone has got to stand and say, no, you can't have this one. You're so hopped up on having a femboy. There are actual femboys out there. Go check off to them. No surgery required. They've got live dicks and they'll actually squirt for you. They may have mental issues, but they're not as screwed up as Indy. I've been saying from the get-go, therapy should be trying to make you get you, mind right so you accept and love yourself as you are. Not encouraging you to throw yourself into a fucking meat grinder. Become a permanent medical experiment for life. Let me tell you something. I'm dealing with other ones like they're in their 20s and they think their life is over. It's like 20 turns to 30 pretty goddamn fast. 30 turns to 50 even faster. That's like by standard, by past standard, I should be sitting back watching Lawrence Welk. Go look at my room, okay? It's messier than when I was 12, okay? I just spent a gobload of money on eBay buying up stuff, it's like replacing things. Like, like this, I had went back in, when I was 12 on this one, and I just got a Captain Kirk. It's on its way, and I'm going to place a few things. My watch list has got a Scotty and a couple of components. Got to go with the bridge set that I got to put these guys in. So on that respect, it's like, you're as old as you think you are for that part. But Indy, come on, all right? I'm living a lifeline back to reality. You got yourself so invested in this crap you can't see with trees for the wood, whatever. Come on. This is wrong. He's like, I'm not delusional. You are at this point. And again, to repeat a previous thing, affirming your delusion is not caring for you. People don't care about you. They're getting it for their own jollies, okay? So just blindly affirming, Yaz Queen, you're a boy. No, bullshit. Trying to urge you to start medically altering your body is not caring for you. That's destructive. You think those boatload of allergies you got are going to, handle this very well? And just because they throw gobs of money at you doesn't mean they give a shit about you, okay? Because I'll actually give you a little warning. When you finally come to your senses and get out of this, you think they're going to stick by you? Few of them might, but a lot of it's they're going to treat you like you just pissed on the Pope's dog or something. Yeah, like you just walked into the Vatican and started humping a crucifix. Okay, that's how they're going to treat you. You will be a traitor to the cause at that point. In which case, you are going to need some actual friends who are going to back you up. Okay. And again, I've got a lot of people backing me up here. They keep getting stuff all the damn time. Well, you see what this is happening? What they're saying now? And obviously going after Jade like there's no tomorrow. It's like, You know, you look like a total loon outside of Indyland. Uh, Jade's laughing this shit off with all of her issues. Come on, it's so fucking childish what she's doing. Like, really? You think this is threatening? Fuck you. But yeah, it's like enough is enough, okay? It's time to stop this. Before, again, my big mantra, avoid doing something stupid and irreversible. You are about to do something stupid and irreversible if you go through these hormone treatments. And you fucking know it. That's a big part of why you had that freak out in the clinic, besides the fact that he was skeezy as hell. You fucking know it. You don't want to do this, and you got goddamn good reasons why not to do this. You've stated yourself over and over again. Up until Thanksgiving, you were saying never going to do it. You're not going for that look. Now you're suddenly going for it. What the hell changed? The only thing we know for sure is the fact your boyfriend moved in. Now it's 24/7 in your head. When are you going to go through treatment? Come on, let's get you going on progesterone. Come on. Let's make you many. Fuck you. Kick his ass out. You don't need that no matter which way you go. You need time to yourself for this. Everyone needs to leave you the fuck alone so you can finally figure this out. But since they won't, neither will I. So want to see why I don't go away? Because they won't. Someone's got to stand up for reality here. So I think that stays it all right. We will talk at you later, kids. Once this thing kicks on. Live TV, gotta love it. Yes, come on. All right, talk at you later.